Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to change your personality to be more attractive to women. The advice I'm going to give you in this video is not the typical cookie cutter dating advice that is mostly a short term solution or a band aid. I'm going to lay out the most deep and lasting way to change your personality at a core level. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. If you're looking for more surface solutions, this video is probably not for you. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is clearly identify what qualities are unattractive to women and what qualities are attractive. So you have to know what you're aiming for here, what inside of you is limiting you right now or repelling women, and then what qualities you want to cultivate within yourself. So let's make sure we're on the same page. Across the board, women find men unattractive who exude these qualities: insecurity, neediness, being too predictable, arrogance, being too serious, being ingratiating, which is people pleasing or bending over backwards all the time, being a doormat, and being indecisive. These are qualities that make women not trust you, that make her feel like you're not really connected to your masculine power, and that you're living in more fear and doubt and limitation than anything. And like I said, when women notice this in you, they're going to feel insecure in themselves. They're going to feel like they can't trust you to lead the dynamic and to be a real man with them. So, what qualities then are attractive to women? What are the qualities that you absolutely need to develop to attract women with much greater ease? And remember, women are much more like energetic, intuitive, emotional beings than men. They feel these dynamics much more than the average man does. And so, yes, your appearance is definitely important. The way you present yourself, you definitely want to work on that. But it's for sure the case that your personality matters a lot more to the woman than her personality likely matters to you. So, along those lines, you want to cultivate the qualities of being charming, funny, confident, unattached, warm, being mysterious, and having social intelligence. This is a good encapsulation of the potent concoction or combination of qualities that make women say yes to you, that make them notice you, that make them drop resistance, and make them trust you. So, how do you develop these qualities and how do you clear the old ones? Well, there are, of course, a lot of techniques out there to change your personality. However, most of the techniques you're going to try either feel like they just don't work or they're very surface and they're not really getting into the root. So the first thing that you need to do is develop a belief that you can change, because without this, nothing matters. So if you had to rate on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, how open are you to change? How willing are you to change? And how confident are you that you can indeed cultivate these qualities and let go of the unattractive ones? Where would you rate yourself? So how you answer that question will determine the likelihood of this actually working for you. So before you move forward, you want to make sure that your belief is at around a 9 or a 10, because that's where your level of commitment is strong enough to actually see this through. Most men are BSing themselves when they say, okay, I guess I'll try this and we'll see what happens. But they're very casual about it, and their commitment level is too low to actually see real change happen. You have to go into this with a somewhat relentless attitude and mindset that you're going to do whatever the hell it takes to develop these qualities and to let go of the ones that are not serving you. Usually that entails getting to a point in your life where you're so fed up with things not working out, with being overlooked by women, with feeling like you come in second or other men are getting high quality women and they're no better than you. What's going on here? Usually you get just so fed up with these dynamics in your life that you're going to do whatever it takes to change. Now, the main idea here that backs this is that your sense of self is fluid. It's not static. So even if you've held on to patterns of unattractive qualities for years and years and years, these things can be changed in an instant. At least the patterning can start to change. The momentum can change very, very quickly. It will take time to stabilize those changes and to establish new neural patterning around these qualities that you want to develop. But it's very important to realize that your sense of self is in no way fixed in stone. It is not static. It is fluid. It is malleable. And the whole field of neuroplasticity is based on this. So if you doubt this, If you've been taught that who you are is just who you are and that's just the way life is, I really encourage you to read more about neuroplasticity. Even do some YouTube searches for it and really embody that into your nervous system so that you're not just being stubborn and resistant to change based on inaccurate information. You can totally do this. Any man can. Like I said, even if you've compiled a tremendous amount of evidence that you are limited, that you have all these unattractive qualities, none of that is set in stone. So if you're a 9 or 10 commitment level, let's move on. If you're not, I would just start there and really get honest with yourself around why you're not fully committed to this change. What's blocking that for you? And then we need to address that. So you can leave me a comment below if you'd like specific help with a specific issue that you're facing in this way. And I will do my best to create content for you that moves you forward. So the two best ways to change your personality are using surrender and imagination. These are not techniques per se. They're not like little self-help band-aids. This is the true nature of transformation as a human being. If you study a lot of the ancient mystical traditions, the spiritual traditions where meditation has been a huge part of the culture, it's really boiling down to using the power of your own mind to create what you want in yourself and in your life. So let's talk a little bit about surrender. This means deeply accepting who you are right now, including all of your flaws and issues. So, the big pitfall, the big trap that most men fall into here is they try to change from a place of pure resistance. Yes, you can change when you're fed up with your life, when you're fed up with not getting acknowledged by girls and you just can't take it anymore, and you'll do whatever it takes. However, if that's all coming from a place of resistance and lack and hating yourself and hating your life, then you're very likely going to notice that that resistance just solidifies the old patterns and causes you to remain stuck in your old fixed sense of self. So the first step is to find a way into deep surrender, deep acceptance to who you are right now. And that includes all of your unattractive qualities, all of your flaws. Can you get to a place where you can be totally cool with those things being there? And you can even be cool with all of the consequences of those things being there. So you can look at the way these qualities have undermined your quality of life, they've sabotaged your happiness, they've repelled women. Can you own all of that from a neutral, non judgmental place? Now, the best way to do this, honestly, it's a deep conversation, but it's to get into a truthful relationship with yourself. All of these unattractive qualities, all of the painful circumstances you've likely had with women, being too nice, being a beta guy, being overlooked, all of this, if that's been your experience, is an integral part of your unique story. It's there to make for an interesting story. It's there actually to support you in reclaiming your power and evolving and expanding as a man. So, in any good story, you can't have the story be entertaining and actually good if there's not adversity, if the main character doesn't have flaws that he or she needs to overcome. So, if you notice you have these unattractive qualities and they've basically screwed up your life and made you feel unhappy, that's all there by intelligent design. It's all there to make for an interesting story. And this is the most helpful, constructive way to see your flaws. This is how you legitimately, authentically get into a place of surrender with the character attributes that you feel like are ruining your life or just feel like less than who you really are. So, along these lines, these unattractive qualities are not actually you. They are conditioned layers on top of your essence, your true masculine identity. They've been pumped into you from society, from parents, from teachers, religious figures. And most of our unattractive qualities have been put there by design to help us feel safe, in control, and certain in life. That's why you have nice guy behaviors. That's why you repel women. It's a safety switch that we turn to in order to give our lives structure and some sort of meaning, even if it's distorted or isn't working for us. So, once again, there's a reason you have these unattractive qualities. They're not there randomly. And that's how you get into a place of deep acceptance, deep surrender. So, you want to find that place of ease and relief and spaciousness around your unattractive qualities. Stop judging yourself. Stop resisting them being there. And even if you're fed up and you'll do whatever it takes to change, that's great. But let's make sure that's coming from a place of abundance rather than lack. It's coming from a place of being leaned into your future self rather than attached to your past self and resisting all these qualities as if they're a real problem in your life. They're not. It's all an illusion, and it makes for an interesting story. So practice seeing these flaws, seeing, really owning the consequences of having these qualities in your life and feeling the shit show that is created for you in your reality, and get to a place where you can hold all of it in your heart from a spacious, broad perspective. You're not taking it personally anymore. You're not judging yourself. And instead, there's a feeling of acceptance and love around all of your flaws and shortcomings. Now, from there, you can use the power of your imagination, the power of your mind in a constructive way. And this is all about seeing yourself as already there and getting acquainted with these new qualities. So, the first step, like I said, is to neutralize resistance to what is, to really get to a heartfelt place where you can accept all of the qualities that you want to change. It can't come through pure resistance. What you resist persists. So if you're resisting who you are now, it's going to block the power you have in your mind, in your imagination to create something new. So this is all, in a sense, playful energy. It's all experimental. You can't screw it up. You can't do it wrong. All you're doing is playing around with new frequencies of energy, with new states of being. So if you already were a confident, charming, humorous, non-attached man, how would that feel for you? How do you see yourself? Can you visualize yourself holding this new posture, this new vibe, this new aura around you of already being these things? What does your voice sound like? How fast do you talk? How slow do you talk? Visualize yourself interacting with women from this newfound place. If you are already there, you're already living the ideal outcome. How does that feel to you? And you're getting your nervous system acquainted with this new way of being. That's what it takes to really change, because your brain is wired to remain the same, to resist change, even if it's positive. So you have to train your brain to overcome its own fear of uncertainty and of change. And this is the way that you do it. Playfully, in a non-threatening way, start to envision yourself already being the ideal outcome, already having a ton of women in your life, being the guy who has these ideal, attractive qualities. And this is something you can just do for 5 or 10 minutes a day. Start your day by anchoring in the feeling state of already living out these qualities. And that's what this is really about, is feeling as deeply and as vividly as you can the reality of already being there. So this combination is very potent. Surrender and imagination. Always surrender to what is. Always surrender to the physical reality you have at hand, including your personal flaws and deficiencies. And then imagine yourself already being in this new, expanded, powerful state. I hope that makes sense. It's something our society doesn't talk about much, which is using the power of your mind in a constructive way. Most of us are using our imagination in a destructive way, meaning we tend to imagine worst case scenarios. We tend to worry about the future. We tend to feel contracted about our abilities and our potential. And we tend to look at women with a feeling of cynicism or doubt, because it's all by design to keep us safe, to keep us locked into the certainty we have now. So this is the true gateway into changing your life. Surrender and imagination, it can go extremely far in terms of sculpting a new identity and really creating a new reality for yourself. The more you stabilize and lock in these new character qualities through your imagination, the more outer reality will mirror this back to you over time. That is designed to happen gradually, as in any good story. It's not just an instantaneous shift where your life is magically wonderful in all ways. But over time, if you give this practice a few months, a few years, you'll look back and be like, holy crap, I can't believe how much I've changed. And it's both profound and simple. It's both, you could say esoteric, but also actionable. This is not hard to do. You just have to warm up the mind in a new way. It's like priming a muscle that you haven't been using much. And you can literally reinvent yourself into being whatever you want through the power of your imagination. Now, if you like this kind of content and you want to learn more about how to reinvent yourself, transform from a beta to a badass or an alpha, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be spending a lot of time on this topic and going deeper than the cookie cutter dating advice out there that just is mostly gimmicky and short term and band-aids. So if you're looking for real solutions, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And I look forward to connecting with you in the next video.